Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm making an apple crumble. Now I know what you're probably thinking, yes, this is a very autumnal dessert, but it's honestly one of my partner's family's, specifically my partner's dad's favourite desserts. So no matter what the season, what the time of year, no matter what is going on, apple crumble is always and probably will always be requested. So I'm just going to go through and basically show you how to make this. So I'm going to start just by peeling the apples, and then once they're all done we'll go through the next steps. So I think the original recipe I got it from, I want to say BBC Good Food, and then I have just sort of increased the ingredients based on the number of people that are going to be having this. So I'm using 4 of these Bramley apples and then just peeling them to get all of the skin on the outside off. I honestly don't think I should be trusted with kitchen equipment. I tend to find if you're using an actual peeler, it comes off easier in little bits. If you're using a knife, then I tend to, try and see how much I can actually go round the apple. I find that when I do longer bits, they get stuck in the peeler. Maybe I've just got a bad peeler, who knows. What is it with me and dropping these apples? That's every single one now that's happened with. So I think that's about as good as it's going to get right now. And then I am just going to add all of this into my little compost bin. So I definitely need to take this out and empty it into the outside one. So I recently started composting. Absolutely a beginner. Just put all the apple skins into the compost. Obviously I have washed my hands since coming back. So yeah, now I will just get all of the cores of the apple and just sort of cut them away. Equally, I tend to find now that I am composting, I don't feel quite so bad about if there's bits being wasted. If it's things that can be composted, I don't really tend to mind as much, because obviously they're not just going in the bin, they're going to something useful. So now I'm just going to get these all chopped up, sliced up. I honestly tend to sort of go with a bit of a mixture of different sizes. Some of them I sort of cube up, other ones are more sliced. I just sort of wing it, to be honest, and just go with whatever I fancy. Equally, I feel when they are different sizes, it's almost a bit more rustic. Equally, I find that when they're done in different sizes, then you almost have some bits that are crunchier than others. I feel it just adds to it. So that's just my preference of how I do it. That nearly went for a flying lesson. There we go. So now that that is all chopped up, I'm going to get that added into the tray. So I'm just going to use this one. I feel like this is going to be big enough, and I'm just going to get it all added in. So this is actually an IKEA dish that I got. I think I showed it like a few videos back. So for this, it's going to be light brown sugar, caster sugar and plain flour. So I think the original actually calls for golden caster sugar. I just use caster sugar because that's just what I have. I'm just going to add in what's needed into the apples. So in the recipe, I think it calls for, so I've obviously increased this, so it's like 2 tablespoons. I'm obviously just using a latte spoon, so I'm not really worrying too much about the measurements. I've made this enough times now, I think, to know that what I'm putting in is enough. So now that is all fully incorporated, now I'm going to get on to mixing the crumble part. We're going to add in 125 grams of cold butter. There we go. So that is now 125 grams of cold unsalted butter, and then it's going to be 200 grams of plain flour, and then 125 grams of caster sugar. So I did see people saying in the comments on this recipe as well that they didn't need as much sugar, so I think I'm going to try putting in like a little bit less today and seeing how that goes. We're going to do it in sort of like increments because I do make this so often. So we're going to start with like 20 grams left. There we go. So I've put about 105 grams in there now. So that is sort of what it's looking like with all the butter under there, and then we're just going to get in and basically combine all of that and crumble it all up. So you can see all the butter, and then essentially this is where you get your hands a bit mucky, and you're going to want to sort of like break apart that butter, and as you're doing so, combining it with the flour and the sugar, and that is going to create your crumble essentially. You can do this in a mixer, I'm sure, as well. I just don't have a stand mixer, unfortunately. By all means, KitchenAid, if you want to chuck us one, then feel free. So once it gets to this point where it's almost like there's some bigger chunks in there, but it is starting to sort of like take shape a bit, I tend to find it's like this motion, almost like running it through your fingers, that really helps it all combine properly, but equally not over process it. Like I think if you're doing this and like scrunching it all up, you're then just gonna condense all that butter together again. Equally, I find going like this is also really handy, just getting like a chunk of it and sort of processing it all between my fingers and sort of like rolling my palms together. So I'm just making sure at this point that like all of the flour and sugar is fully combined. I haven't got any like stuck to the bottom. So there we go. That is now like a gorgeous crumble texture for us to spread over the top of the apples. Now I do like to sort of like I just condense a few bits and get some bigger crumble bits, like some bigger chunks. I only do this a couple of times though, because obviously I don't want to over process it and I don't want to condense too much of it all together. So now we're just going to add this straight on top of the apple. I find it works really well if you sort of like put it in a clump in the middle and then sort of like spread it out from there. Some of these apple bits are really wanting to just be on the surface, aren't they? I just make sure it's all nice and even. There's not like any big chunks of apple just sort of like sticking up. And then I will just sort of like pat it down a bit, but not like too much really. And then I just go through I have no idea what that does and I have no idea why I did that. I feel like it works though. And then this is where the oats and the brown sugar come in. So just gonna get some oats just to sprinkle over the top. I feel like they say maybe like a couple of teaspoons or something of this. I just sort of get like a light, big chunk over there. Just get like a light coating, and then I do the exact same with the brown sugar. So I do tend to find that I sort of have to like sprinkle this over a bit with my hands, because obviously brown sugar like kind of clumps together. And there we go, apple crumble done. And then I'm going to be baking this at my partner's house, but I will try and get some clips of what it's actually like afterwards. So I then just popped this in the oven at 180 degrees, the lovely golden temp of 180, for about 35 minutes. Basically just until it's like golden on the top. And then we just served up some custard. Equally, you could use like cream or ice cream or anything like that really. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please do let me know how it goes if you decide to make this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that stuff. It really does mean the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.